guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video, my first video ever, is going to be TBR jar picks my March TBR. I am so excited to do this. Usually I just pick my TBR based on like what I want, what I'm feeling. I feel like this will be such a fun way to do it. I've seen everyone do it on TikTok, on YouTube. I thought it would be the perfect way to kick off my channel. So I got a bunch of prompts off of Pinterest. I wrote them down, folded them up, and they're in here. I think there's like 24 prompts. And I'm gonna pick 6 books, I think. So I actually had a pretty slow month of reading in February. I only read 8 books, but in the couple of months before that, I was reading like 10 or 11. So I'm just gonna go with 6. I feel like that's a safe number. It's not too high, and if I have another slightly slow reading month, I will still be able to probably hit all of those books. Okay, so let's just get right into it. I gathered all of the books on my physical TBR that I haven't read yet, and I put them on this cart. I usually don't keep this just my TBR, but for the sake of the video, I put them all on my TBR cart. I think I have about like 30 to 40 books to choose from. And in the past couple of months, I feel like I've been choosing the same books over and over again. So hopefully I choose some different ones and some books that I've been putting off for a while through this little jar. Okay, so the first prompt is a book that has a favorite trope of yours. So my favorite tropes are enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, forced proximity, fake dating, anything like that. Also, when it says trope, I'm immediately thinking romance. I think that's what it means. Like, I feel like trope doesn't mean fiction or historical fiction or thriller, so looks like we're gonna be going with a romance. So I'm thinking 7 Days in June. We have Hook, Line, and Sinker. We have Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake. Sarah Adams' When in Rome. Okay, I feel like these are a good 4 books to start with. I don't know the exact trope of all of these. Immediately, I'm thinking When in Rome is a no. I think this trope is like someone's famous, someone is not, and it's small town, cutesy vibes. That is like not my favorite trope. This actually could be a contender. I forgot to mention earlier, one of my other favorite tropes is pregnancy romance, and I haven't read one in a while. This one could be a very good option. 7 Days in June, I really do want to read this. I think it's second chance romance more so than any of my favorite tropes that I mentioned, so unfortunately, I feel like that's not going to work. And then this could work. This is Hook, Line, and Sinker. This is the second book in Tessa Bailey's series. The first one was It Happened One Summer, and I really love that. I never read the second, and I believe this is fake dating or like forced proximity, forced roommates. Yes, that is exactly what this is. So it's between these two. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake because, like I said, pregnancy romance is one of my favorites and I haven't read one in a while, and this has been sitting on my shelf for quite a bit. So that is the first book on the March TBR. My hair was bothering me, so I just pulled it back, but let's pick the second prompt. Also, how cute is this jar? It is cherries and little limes on it. I'm obsessed. Okay. 2023 bestseller. This might take some research, so I'm gonna do that and come right back. Okay, so that was kind of hard. I couldn't find a comprehensive bestseller of 2023 list. Like, I don't know if I should have looked at the New York Times bestseller list, whatever, but I just ended up looking at the Amazon bestsellers of 2023, and the only book on my TBR that I saw show up there and in some other places was Remarkably Bright Creatures, which I have right here in this super cute cover. This is the UK version. I got it from Blackwell's, which is like a UK-based bookstore, but they ship to the US for free. So if you ever want a UK cover, little hack is to buy from there. I've actually really been wanting to read this, so it is perfect. I hear it's very heartwarming and endearing. So yeah, this is what I'm gonna go with, a 2023 bestseller. You guys, I'm having so much fun doing this, and those are 2 books that I probably wouldn't have picked. So this is already off to a great start because I'll be reading some books I may not have. And yes, let's pick the third prompt. The third prompt is historical fiction. This is perfect. I've been loving historical fiction, and I have a few on here that I want to read. I actually know probably exactly what I'm going to pick already, but we can go through a few of my options anyway. I do have The Personal Librarian. This is an option, but I'm not going to pick this because I have my eye on a different one. This is the story about the personal librarian to J.P. Morgan. I got this a long time ago and I've never read it, so maybe I'll pick it up eventually, but not today. Let's see if I have any other options. The Magnolia Palace is historical fiction, I believe, but what I'm going to go for is the Book of Lost Names. I've heard lots of good things about this. This is a World War II historical fiction, and I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I loved it. I always recommend it to people. It was a 5-star read. I was talking about it in one of my TikTok videos, and someone commented that if I liked that, I would love this, and some people even said that this was better than that, so I feel like I'm going to love this. I am very happy with this pick because I've been dying to read it. For the fourth prompt, we have Bought from a Bookstore. This actually may prove difficult. I buy most of my books online, but I will look and see if I remember buying any in person. Okay, after doing some looking, it seems the only book on my physical TBR that I bought in a bookstore was Winter's Promise, I think it's called. A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. This is a YA fantasy. I think it's the first book in a series. And if I'm being honest, I will add this to my TBR because it's the only one that fits the prompt. But I will probably not read this because I really don't feel like starting another YA fantasy series right now. I'm currently in the middle of The Cruel Prince. And I don't know, I don't see this happening in March, but who knows? Maybe it will. I'm gonna put it on the list anyway. Okay, number 5. A highly anticipated read. Oh, that is a perfect prompt. That's such a fun one. When I was writing this down, I was like, oh, I hope I get that because it's kind of like a free choose, you know? I can just pick any book that I want to read. And let's see. Okay, actually, for a second there, I thought I had a bunch of different thoughts going on and I didn't know which one I would have to choose, but there is a clear winner book here. I'll go through a few of my runner-ups before I show you that one, but yeah, there's a clear answer here. So I was kind of considering Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I have heard so many people say that this is a phenomenal thriller, and I'm really excited to read it. I think I will love it. I hear it's super dark and twisty. I love dark and twisty, but it's not as anticipated as this other read. I also feel like I could have gone with The Queen of Nothing, which is the second in the Cruel Prince trilogy, or at least I think it's the second. I always get confused if this is the second or the third, but whatever. I could choose the second book in the series because that is anticipated, but it just didn't feel right. So I am going with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because this feels so right. This is such an anticipated read of mine and I've been putting it off for so long. I do not know why. I hear it's like a beautiful, enchanting story, like 5-star vibes. I know some people don't love it, but I think I will. Also, look how gorgeous this cover is. I think this is like the illustrated anniversary edition. Yes, this is like my only special edition book, if you would even call it that. So yeah, I'm adding this to my March TBR for my highly anticipated read, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Okay, so we are on number 6, my final prompt for the March TBR. I am hoping for a prompt that will let me choose a mystery thriller of sorts. I always love to read 1 or 2 of those a month, and I do not have one in the mix yet. So yeah, hopefully I pick one. If I don't, that's okay because 6 books is a lower amount of books than I typically read in a month. So I will probably get to read extra books than this, but these are like the 6 that I will want to hit. Okay, so it discusses death, grief, or moving on. Okay, when I wrote this one, I was like, oh, that's a doozy. But I got it, so let's see. Okay, I feel like this is a prompt that's a little bit like more up to interpretation or like guessing just because I don't know exactly what is going to happen in these books. Like it's not like I know there's a prompt in here that is book with a purple cover. Like that answer is obvious. I could only choose pretty much this. I feel like this one is a bit more open to what I want. I have a few books that are sticking out in my brain and it's just like whatever direction I want to go in and like make this prompt fit into. Okay, so a few ideas I have. I feel like an obvious choice is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagara. This is like the most devastating book of all time. I can only assume that it has some grief and death in it, but like I don't think I'm feeling this heaviness for March, so I'm not gonna pick this one. Then there is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually think this could fit really nicely into the moving on part of this prompt. So it says discusses death, grief, or moving on. This is about a married couple who have gotten to a point in their marriage where they feel like the love is lost and they no longer love each other the way they used to. So they take like a year-long break to see if they can find their way back to each other. And I feel like that fits moving on perfectly. So maybe I'll choose this one. And then the last one that is sticking out to me is My Last Innocent Year. I feel like this could deal with grief. Okay, so from reading the blurb, I know that this is like a coming-of-age story that takes place on a college campus, and it has to do with a girl who is sexually assaulted. It's a coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. My Last Innocent Year is a timely and wise portrait of a young woman learning to trust her voice and move toward independence while recognizing the beauty and grit of where she came from. I might be stretching it here, but I feel like this could deal with grief in the way that she's like grieving the person she used to be, like her last innocent year. I don't know, maybe that's a stretch, but I feel like it kind of fits. I think I want to go with this one. I'm feeling inclined to pick it up, and I have never felt that way about this book, and I've had it on my shelf for a few months. So if I'm feeling it, I feel like I should go with it. Also, this book is like well under 300 pages. I think it's like 250. So if I'm ever needing a shorter book in the month, I feel like this would be the perfect book to pick up. I always like to balance like different lengths of reads. So yeah, I think I'm gonna choose this. Okay, you guys, I lied. I'm gonna do one more, either to replace A Winter's Promise or just to add to it. Like, I know I'm not reading that book, so I thought, why not do one more? I'm having fun. Let's make it 7 books on the TBR for March. Okay, I hope it's a good one. Goodreads 2023 winner or nominee. Okay, I feel like this could be good. I'm gonna go to my laptop for a second and do some research, but I do have some initial thoughts. I feel like Happy Place is gonna be the answer to this. I think it won the Romance 2023 award, or if it didn't win, I guarantee it was at least nominated. So let's go see. Okay, yep, perfect. As I suspected, Happy Place is the Goodreads 2023 winner for the romance category. And this is actually the perfect note to end this video, this picking of the March TBR on, because I'm going to Florida this month and I'm going to Mexico this month. So it is a very like tropical vacation filled time of year for me. And I have been waiting and waiting and waiting to read this book for either a tropical vacation, like I said, or summertime, because I just cannot get myself to read this book in dark, wet, cold, wintry Boston, which is where I currently am. Like, I need warm weather. So this will be perfect. I will bring it on my vacations, and I feel like it'll be the perfect beach read. I was probably gonna read this even if I didn't pick it here. So a fabulous final book to pick. Okay, so now that we have picked the 6 prompts, let's do a little recap on the books I will be reading in March. We have Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is a 2023 bestseller. I think it's a fiction, endearing, heartwarming read. Next, we have Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake. This is a book with one of my favorite tropes, the accidental pregnancy romance trope. Next, we have The Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel. This is a historical fiction in World War II, and I am so excited for it. Then we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which is a highly anticipated read for me. I have been putting it off for so long, and I can't wait to get to it this month. Next, we have Happy Place by Emily Henry, which is a 2023 Goodreads Choice Awards nominee or winner. This was the winner of the romance section. And last but not least, we have My Last Innocent Year by Daisy Alpert Florin, and this is fitting into the prompt, which is discusses grief, death, or moving on. So yes, these are the 6 books that I have picked out for the month of March. I feel like it is such a good mix, combination, different genres, a bunch of books I'm looking forward to, and books that I probably wouldn't have picked out on my own to read. So I feel like this whole jar picks my reads is a great way to pick up the books that I am less likely to pick up on my own. I'm super excited to read these month. I'm super excited to be sharing my first YouTube video. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to my channel. You will be getting lots more book videos. I either have already posted or will be posting very soon my February reading wrap up. And then I have a few other ideas that I want to get up for this month. I'll be doing reading vlogs, different like reading themed videos. And yeah, I cannot wait. So hopefully you'll join me on my journey of reading books and sharing my thoughts.